This meeting is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Cons? Cons?
Here.
Mrs. Shandy?
Here.
Mr. Wilburn?
Here.
Mrs. Yanez?
Here.
Mr. Salt?
Here. The Pledge of Allegiance this evening will be led by Ms. Cons.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Mattson Bonet. Are there any updates to the agenda?
Share with Amy.
There were updates to the agenda. And these were shared with the board.
All right, thank you. Members of the board, are there any items you wish to move from the consent agenda? Are there any discussion items to be added to the agenda? May we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mrs. Shandy?
Aye.
Mr. Wilburn?
Aye.
Mrs. Yanez?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye. Tonight's board quote is from Ms. Cons.
And it is from John Wooden. Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to become the best of which you are capable. And I think this is a great sentiment for this exciting new school year that we're starting, for students, for the board, for staff, for our community. Become the best of which we are each capable.
Thank you, Ms. Cons. Before we jump in, I just want to say welcome back to everyone. I know it's been a quick summer and we're got kids starting in the building next week. I know my kids are amped. I know my wife and I are amped for them to go back to school. Also wanted to say thank you. I don't know if everyone noticed or not, but the boardroom looks a little different this evening than typical. We had an immense amount of work done over the summer that reorienting the boardroom actually allows for more people to be in here and participate in the board meetings. And so we're really excited about that transition. It also allows us a little bit more opportunity to dialogue and conduct the business that we need to do with the way that the dais is shaped. And so we're really excited about having these changes made, allowing more people in, and what that's going to mean for our board meetings moving forward. So thank you to everyone involved. This was a huge undertaking, and really just wanted to say how much I know everyone on the board has commented about how much they like the new layout. And so just thank you to everyone here, the administration that participated in helping make sure that this happened over the summer. It was a lot of work in a short amount of time, and it's phenomenal. Any other comments, board? All right, wonderful. All right, well, we're looking forward to a great year. With that, Mr. Smart, I believe you have a few introductions you'd like to make.
Yeah. Oh, that's loud. We have 7. I might have to move back from this. I do want to recognize someone in the room who has been 39 days retired, and we've already got her back working for us. Maureen Lang just couldn't stay away. So thank you for doing that for us. Woohoo. Okay, so yeah, tonight I'm pleased to introduce Julie Palmer, who is being recommended as the special education administrator. Julie is joined this evening by her husband Dave, her children Colin and Keaton. She holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology from Hastings College and a Master of Education in Special Education from the University of Nebraska. Is it Go Red or Go Big Red? Oh yeah, okay. Can't just be red, it's gotta be Big Red, okay. Julie began her career in Mid-Dell School District in Oklahoma City. I want you to know I used to live in Oklahoma. So if my accent comes out tonight, it's because I'm transferring that. She was a resource teacher there, and then Anchorage School District. I was also born in Anchorage. Wow, this is amazing. We're Are we related or something? I don't know. And she was a special education teacher there as well. And then she came to D20, where she worked at Eagleview Middle School as a special education resource teacher, and then at Chinook Trail Middle School as a special education resource teacher. And she currently serves as the MTSS coordinator at Chinook Trail Middle School. And we are pleased to recommend Julie tonight for the position of special education administrator. Julie, anything you'd like to say?
All right. I would like to thank the board and Superintendent Haber for entrusting me with this opportunity. I would also like to thank Dr. Lujan Lindsay, Mrs. Stewart, Mrs. Ricky, my amazing administrative team for all of their support and mentorship. Most of all, I'd like to thank my family for their continued love, support, and making sure that I laugh often. I have a passion for Academy District 20, also with partnering with families and staff to make sure that we are inclusively supporting students, and I am so excited for this opportunity. Thank you.
Well, thank you. All right, now I'd like to introduce Kendra Boyer Evers, who is being recommended as a special education administrator. Kendra is joined this evening by her husband, Mike, who just came back from fighting fires in Oregon. Is that right? So really, he came in hot tonight, just so you know. And their children, Kennedy, Layla, and Max. Kendra holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Elementary Education from Adams State College and a Master's as Educational Specialist in School Psychology from the University of Northern Colorado. She began her career in District 11 as a first grade teacher and then a school psychologist, and currently serves as a school psychologist for the district. We're pleased to recommend Kendra tonight for the position of special education administrator. Anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Mr. Smart. I would like to thank our Board of Education and Superintendent Haberer for this opportunity. I would also like to thank Dr. Lujan Lindsay, Ms. Stewart, and Ms. Ricky for the leadership in our special education department. My new team is also amazing, and I'm so grateful for them. A special thank you to Dr. Lujan Lindsay for believing in me and the continuous encouragement that she has provided me. My family and my faith are my reason for my drive and my success. Thank you to my parents, my wonderful husband, and my 3 amazing children, always my biggest cheerleaders. I could not be more excited for this new journey in my professional career. I have a genuine love and passion for Academy School District 20 as I am a D20 graduate. I am dedicated to this district and to public education. I will lead my teams in the special education department based on my core values of respect, relationships, and communication.
Thank you. Next, I would like to introduce Ryan Rafferty, who is being recommended as the Pioneer Elementary School Interim Assistant Principal. Although he's by himself tonight, he does have a fan club here. Let's hear it. Woo! There you go. Okay, Ryan holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Elementary Education and Sociology from Stonehill College and a Master's of Education in Moderate Special Needs from Boston College. Ryan began his educational career in Massachusetts. He was a 3rd grade teacher and a 2nd grade teacher, and then came to Fountain Fort Carson and was a 2nd and 4th grade teacher, MTSS grade level coordinator, educational liaison, and I don't know what this is, but SBC representative, but it sounds very important. So good job on that. Ryan currently serves as the MTSS coordinator for Pioneer Elementary School, and we're pleased to recommend Ryan tonight for the position of elementary school interim principal, assistant principal, assistant, don't get crazy on me, at Pioneer. Anything you'd like to say?
Superintendent Haberer, school board members and directors, thank you for the opportunity to serve as interim assistant principal at Pioneer Elementary School. I would like to take a moment to thank my family, who were not able to be here today, for their encouragement throughout the interview process. I would also like to thank the entire Pioneer staff, who are currently hosting our back to school night, for their support as I've transitioned into my new role. I'm looking forward to continuing to serve the District 20 community and build upon Pioneer success. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next I'd like to introduce Michelle Leobold. And Michelle has a Southern accent, and I told you I used to live in Oklahoma, so if it slips out, this is where it's going to happen. All right, she's being recommended as the Village High School Assistant Principal. Her family's not here because are they in South Carolina? Is that where they're at right now? Then in the throes of Hurricane Debbie, so keep them in your thoughts. Michelle holds a Bachelor's of Arts in English from Union University, a Master's of Arts in English, and Master's of Arts in Teaching from Austin P University, State University, Master of Science in Educational Leadership from Western Governors University, and she's pursuing a doctorate in K-12 Education Leadership from North Greenville University. She loves going to school. She began her educational career in D20 at Eagle View Middle School as an 8th grade teacher. Then she went to South Carolina where she did a lot of things. She was a middle school writing and New Horizons teacher, 7th grade English teacher, 7th grade RTI English teacher, high school English teacher, and then also at a couple different places. She currently serves as an assistant principal for South Aiken High School. We're pleased to recommend Michelle to you tonight for the position of Village High School Assistant Principal. Anything you'd like to say? I guess so. She's coming up.
Good evening. So, just like correction, it's Michelle Leibold. We were gonna emphasize that lie, right? So greatly appreciative for the opportunity that I have to serve in this district. Like he said, I started here and was just amazed at the caliber of talent and the passion within the district. So I'm excited to return. I do have family at home watching. So hi, Jeff, Mally, and May, and Remy. And so I am just really excited to come back. Our kids will be at Woodman Roberts. And we are excited to really start planting roots here again within the district. And then also thank you for Lindsay Keller for really seeing what I have to offer and also the willingness to grow. So thank you again. Have a good evening.
Thanks. Sorry, Michelle, that I pronounced your name wrong. Next, I'd like to introduce Rebecca Kiger. This is day one for you, right? First day of work? Wow, got her in there. Okay, so she's being recommended as the Woodman Roberts Elementary School Interim Assistant Principal. She's here with her husband, Nick, and children Grayson and Addie, and they said they're super excited to be at a board meeting. Just want you to know. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Human Development and Family Studies from Colorado State University. It's okay. I went to the University of Wyoming. Master's of Education in Educational Administration from Grand Canyon University. She began her educational career in Whitefield School District, where she was a kindergarten teacher. And then she went to D3 My Way, where she was an elementary teacher, elementary coordinator, enrichment coordinator, elementary coordinator, and then an administrator of TOSA. And then went to Haven School, where she was the dean of students, and she currently serves as assistant principal at Haven School. It is my pleasure to recommend her tonight for the position of Woodman Roberts Elementary School Interim Assistant Principal. Anything you'd like to say?
Good evening. Board of Education, Superintendent, Board of Directors, thank you for this opportunity. I have been a resident of the Woodman Roberts neighborhood. Both of our children went through there. I was there as a parent many, many years and many hours, and I'm so excited to serve in the community where I live. Thank you to Mr. Hansen, who has been a great partner all of one day, but I look forward to working closely with him. And thank you to the teaching community and the parents and staff who have already welcomed me with open arms. I'm excited to serve. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Jackie Hansen, who's being recommended as the Prairie Hills Elementary School Principal. Jackie is joined this evening by her husband, Nick, and their children, Kayla, Savannah, and I like to call him Big Will. And Jackie holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Elementary Education, a Special Education Endorsement from Aurora University, and a Master's of Arts in Education and Education Leadership from University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. She began her educational career in Phoenix, Arizona, and she was a 5th grade teacher. And then she moved to D20, where she worked at Academy Endeavor as a 4th grade teacher and a K-5 special education resource teacher, and then moved into a TOSA for curriculum and instruction position. She currently serves as the assistant principal for Woodman Roberts Elementary School. We are pleased to recommend Jackie tonight for the position of Prairie Hills Elementary School principal. Jackie, anything you want to say? She has a whole speech wrote out. It's going to be great.
Last time I was here, I forgot to thank my family, so I had to write notes, so I didn't forget to thank them this time. So good evening, Board of Education and Superintendent Haberer. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm grateful for the mentorship of Nate Hansen and the experience I gained at Woodman-Roberts over the past 3 years. I'm looking forward to working again with T.C. Killingsworth and Dr. Field, and I'm so grateful that Maureen Lane came out of retirement just for me for the last couple weeks. Finally, I'm so thankful for the support of my family, as without them, I would not have my support system. They are my #1 fans. Today, I read this quote: "Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful." I am so happy to be a Prairie Hills Coyote and know I will love what I do and be successful at what we do because we'll do it together. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you, Jackie. You know, I told every one of them, don't forget to thank Mr. Smart. Nobody's done it yet. So Crystal, this is your opportunity. So I'm going to introduce Crystal Story, who's being recommended as the Assistant Director for Communication. She is joined this evening, I think, by her husband, Chase. Did he make it? Okay. She holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Journalism and Mass Communication from Arizona State University. And she began her career at K2 TV in Casper, Wyoming. Probably an amazing station. I did my student teaching in Casper, just in case you want to know. She was an anchor and a reporter, and then she came to KRDO News Channel 13 as a multimedia journalist, and she currently serves as the Media and Public Relations Manager for the district. We're pleased to recommend Crystal to you tonight for the position of Assistant Director for Communication. Crystal, anything you want to say? Always.
First, I'd like to thank the Board of Education and Superintendent Haberer. I love Academy District 20 and the people that make up this district. It's an honor to continue serving our community through reliable and consistent communication. I also couldn't do my work without the communication team, so I want to say a big thank you to Mark Belcher for first giving me this opportunity and believing in my abilities. I want to thank Paul Hollendorfer, Courtney Kidd, and Victoria Costantino for being my thought partners and comedic relief in the midst of crisis. I also want to thank the many leaders in this room, the ones in front of me and the ones behind me. For the last 4 years, whether they know it or not, I have been watching and listening and learning from each and every one of them. Last and certainly not least, I'd like to thank my husband, Chase, who is no doubt hiding in the back. And it is a gift to find a partner who loves work as much as you do. And so I'm thankful for him. He is my #1 fan. He is a listening ear, and he always has vats of coffee ready and on hand. Thank you very much.
All right. Before I go, I just want to thank the communications team. They help us so much when we have job fairs, and they always make them successful because they get the word out. So appreciate everything they do. I'm done.
Is that a record?
Okay, come on now. It sounded like a record tonight. Oh, no, it's only 7. She calls it 7.5. I don't know. Next time.
All right. We'll be looking for it. Thank you for all of you being recognized as new administrators this evening. If you'll stick around, we'll take a break momentarily, shake some hands, and then you can get on out of here.
The super update first.
So next up is the superintendent update, Ms. Haberer.
All right, well, board, I am so excited. We have had such a strong start of the year, and I can't wait to share some of the pictures we've taken of that. First of all, this summer, I had a chance to go to a conference called ISTE, and it's all about the use of technology, especially as an educational tool. And that's a picture of a former colleague of mine. She was Ed Tech Director, Kim LeClaire, and she's actually now a major coordinator of that event. And I just want to say I appreciate that Director Aaron Salt and Director Amy Shandy were both able to attend. And this was a session that Amy and I were able to go to. We went to actually 2 of his sessions. His name's Ken Shelton, and he wrote this amazing book called The Promises and Perils of AI in Education. And so I got Amy the book because we went together and we both wanted it. And I actually ended up going to a dinner where I was I won it, or I got a chance just to have it handed to me. But board, I'd love to have you take a peek at it. And if it's something that all board members would want, it could be something we read together. What I appreciate about his presentation is, while AI can be such an important thought partner and an amazing and powerful educational tool, we know that colleges right now are asking students what is their AI proficiency, and even on job applications, that is now becoming a question. So we know we need to help our students understand this tool, but we also know that it's not perfect. That AI can hallucinate, which I think is a really strange word to use towards AI, but basically it only is able to produce the kind of data that's put in. And sometimes it can be inaccurate. So we're always going to need humans to take a look at what the products are, and also to check it for bias, because certainly information that's put in could have a bias to it, and we have to be sensitive to that. And it's also a chance, I think, to help our students understand what are some of those implicit biases that are in our community. Some of the major questions really for the whole conference were, what does it mean? What are the uniquely human skills? Because humans will always be around. I think the biggest fear sometimes is AI is going to replace humans and jobs. And I just think that jobs will transform to maybe look different, where we're always going to need that human touch and that human presence. What does it mean to create, and what are the possibilities and limitations of AI? So would love if the whole board wants this, we'll be glad to do that. Maybe we can learn together, which I think makes us stronger together as well. Oh, another interesting thing about the picture is he and the other folks that worked with him actually went back and forth. They spent over 100 hours going back and forth and putting prompts into AI to eventually come up with this picture, and he showed the process. And I think the shift that will probably need to happen is us really focusing on helping students display the process that they use to get a product rather than just the product itself. And then I went to a CASE conference, Colorado Association of School Executives, and there we have Dr. Fields, who is our Assistant Superintendent of Learning Services, Tacey Killensworth, Executive Director for Learning Services, and Carol Bramscheiber, who is our Director of Library Media Specialist. We were asked by CASE, because I had a chance to meet with Brett Miles, who is the president. I was telling him all about our journey with book challenges and really supporting libraries. And we had a great presentation. And later I had one of the CASE executives come up to me and say, I've had 3 different people from your presentation come up and just tell me how much they appreciated you guys coming and sharing your journey with us and your policies. So I was excited that we had a chance to do that. And then we started with our lead team retreat, and it was amazing. And a thank you to Principal Matt Sisson and the whole Liberty staff for having us there at Liberty. It was the perfect setting. We got new chairs that are actually the same ones that we're sitting on, that have a little bit of cushion in it to make sure people are comfortable. But a huge thank you to Dr. Jeremy Koselak and his team. They put in multiple hours to put this retreat on. Some of the themes I was able to open with what does it mean to be Team One, using the example of boys in the boat and them winning the Olympic gold. And then the really fun part was we added a team building aspect for every single director, principal, assistant principal, central office folks, split us into different teams. I got to do pickleball, which was super fun. We even had axe throwing, and as we'll see, it was a new talent of Shelly Kuzer. Her team actually won at the axe throwing, which I thought was pretty amazing.
Could you go back a slide really quick?
Yeah, I think I can. Let me see. Yes.
Is that Pete throwing the axe?
I think so.
The same guy who told us we couldn't use t-shirt cannons is throwing axes. This feels like a little bit of a double standard. All right, I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
No, we had a wonderful time, and it really did build team across all of the different departments. Transportation, we had our central office, our building leaders, and it was just really a good time to come together. And when you have fun times like this, when the hard times hit, you've built that camaraderie, and it just helps us, I think, to be much better creative problem solvers when those times come up. And then certainly in the afternoon, we kept our instructional administrators there, and really our focus this year is on instructional leadership and how do we support our teachers and administrators in our professional learning communities to come together and really have that focus on academic growth and achievement together as Team One. And then we had our new licensed staff orientation, which was amazing. And I had a chance to pair with Mark Belcher, share a little bit about communication. I was sharing again about the importance of Team One and what our values are around academic growth and achievement together. Dr. Field and Dr. Pariseau also shared another focus this year is around post-secondary education and how do we expand our career and technical education opportunities at the middle and high school level so that more of our students get to go deep with their interests, especially around what they might want to do with their career pathway. And a huge thank you to Pine Creek, and they had the band playing and they had the cheerleaders, and a huge thank you to and ROTC. Thank you, Colonel Hubert. Your students have been at almost every opening, and that's really made it special. So we appreciate you and your team, and also Mrs. Kate Margrave, Mrs. Daniel Johnson, and again, Colonel Hubert for just making this a really special time. And I think you can see as the teachers walk through with the cheerleaders and we were there to greet them, I think it really helped our new licensed staff see that we really do value our relationships and our people. They are foundational to our success here in D20. And then our job fair. And I certainly had to interact with the cones over there. I think they successfully were able to hire their crossing guards. That's what I've heard. But it was very successful. We had 181 total attendees. And again, thank you, Mr. Cameron Smart and his whole team for putting that on. I know when I was there and there was a huge line that was going out the door. And we had a lot of folks that showed up that didn't even RSVP. So I think it was really successful. And I just really appreciate all the efforts that went into that. So thank you. We had a chance to do a welcome back with our amazing transportation team. Again, I was able to share about our importance of Team One and working together. And Becky had the opportunity to share about our bond initiative, which is a huge focus for us this year. And we will be sharing out more about that bond initiative in the very near future. We also brought our classified staff. They are very foundational to our success as well. And I had a chance to do a welcome there, and they had a chance to see who all the admin assistants were here at the central office so that they kind of know better who to contact depending on what's going on in the building and what the needs are. Because we are here at the central office, truly our purpose is to serve the schools and to make sure that they have what they need to be successful with our students. Back to School Rally was amazing, and huge thank you, Mark, to you and your team. And the rumor has it that Courtney Kidd was the one who organized everything. So huge shout out to her. It couldn't have gone more smoothly. I know I was panicking a little the night before with the torrential rainstorm that we had and thought, oh no, I hope that doesn't dampen the spirits of the rally. But of course, we have this amazing Team One dedicated folks who's like, no fear. They were here, I think, at 4 in the morning doing this. They literally went through and dried every single seat and all of the bleachers. And I heard from Mary Elsner, my admin assistant, she was pretty excited about it because they bought these big sham cloths, I guess, during COVID, and they never had a chance to use it. So they were excited to crack open those. And you can see they just did an amazing job. So huge thank you. It truly was a Team One effort. Appreciate all of you leading the dances and things like that. And it just couldn't have gone better. And the donuts were amazing. I heard they even bought the real donuts, like the real things. So that was awesome. All right, I'm going to move on. So next we have several folks here too. And I'm going to ask you if you are one of the folks that we're celebrating right now, if you want to come forward and just share a few things, that would be great. But the first is the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence from our business services. So for the 25th year in a row, the Academy District 20 Financial Department has been awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 22-23 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. The Governing Finance Officers Association established the award in 1945 to encourage and assist state and local governance to go beyond the minimum requirements of generally accepted accounting principles to prepare annual comprehensive financial reports that evidence the spirit of transparency and full disclosure. This award is the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting and financial reporting. A thank you to Sherry Pittman, Accounting and Budget Analyst, Kathy Watts, who's our Executive Director for Business Services, Marissa Main, Central Office, our Central Administration Bookkeeper, Marianne Meadows, who is our Accounting and Budget Analyst, Jared Hochstein, who's an Accounting and Budget Analyst, Martina Levkas, Accounting and Budget Analyst, Monica Fugero, who's a Central Administration Bookkeeper, Tony DeMott, who's Director for Budget and Finance, Christina Smith, Central Administration Bookkeeper, and Denise Bochard, who is an Executive Secretary for Business Services. Would you guys please all stand and let us give you a round of applause? And these folks that we're recognizing, please come up to the front when we break, because we want to be able to take a picture with the different folks that we're recognizing tonight. Next is, let me push the button here. Congrats to Air Academy 2024 graduate Christian Raker, Air Academy class of 2025, Erica Lupine, and Air Academy class of 2025, Vincent Arazari. They all earned a $25,000 scholarship from the Air Force through the Air Force JROTC program to earn their private pilot license at civilian universities in an 8-week intensive program this summer. I want to fly with you next time. I'm going to fly. All three were successful, passing the FAA written exam and a flying check ride, and they now have their private pilot licenses. This is a highly competitive scholarship that only about 175 students out of the 850 Air Force JROTC programs nationwide were selected for. Only 20% of student pilots nationwide actually make it all the way through to earn their pilot license. And again, pictured here is Erica and Vincent. The 2024 graduate Christian Raker was not available because he was already headed to college. So would you guys please stand and be recognized? That is such a huge, huge accomplishment. Thank you so much for making time to be here with us tonight. And again, stick around because we want to get your picture. And then as mentioned in a recent Gazette article, we appreciate our partnership with the Gazette. They do such a great job, and I know we have a member here. We really do appreciate you. You do a great job of covering our stories. Is former Pine Creek High School and UCSS track and field star Layla El-Marsi, and she was representing Palestine, competing in the women's 800-meter run at the Paris Olympics last week. And if there are other D20 graduates that you know of that were in the Olympics, please send them our way, because that is a huge accomplishment, and we want to be sure to highlight them. And this is a huge shout out to Caitlin Wells from Pine Creek High School. Her computer art piece titled Backyard received a first place gold key from National Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. More than 340,000 pieces of artwork were entered, and fewer than 2,500 entries received national recognition. So Caitlin is in the top 8% of the nation with her artwork. Less than 50 students' work was chosen from the state of Colorado, and she is the only National Scholastic Award recipient in D20. So let's give her a hand. I don't think she was able to make it, but we appreciate it. And then I think this person's here, and we appreciate that. Congratulations to Foothills Elementary fifth grader Robert Stepanov, who just won his 5th and 6th USA Track and Field Junior Olympics. This 2024 USATF National Junior Olympic Track and Field Championship concluded on Sunday, July 28th in College Station, Texas. The championships were held on the campus of Texas A&M University. Despite moving up to the 11-12 division and being at the bottom of the division, he was able to continue his winning ways as he won 2 titles and nearly won a 3rd. He started the week off finishing 2nd in the 3,000 meter and then won the 1,500 meter, running a time of 4 minutes and 29 seconds. His time was a personal best over 10 seconds. The next day, he won the 800 meter with a winning time of 2 minutes and 13 seconds, which was a personal best by over 4 seconds. Stepanov is a 4-time Colorado Athlete of the Year and has now won 6 USATF Junior Olympic titles in track and field and cross country in his young career. So I have no doubt we'll see him in the Olympics someday too. I believe that that you are here, Robert, and I know that your principal's here with you too, and your family. Would you guys please stand? Actually, Robert, I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind just coming out to the center aisle so we can all see you, and we're going to give you another round of applause because those are truly. So please stick around because we definitely want to get your picture. Oh, and autographs too, I'm hearing. So as you can see, we're off to an amazing start, and I'm very excited about what we're going to accomplish together this year. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. We need a motion to approve the consent agenda as posted.
Moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cons,
Aye.
Mrs. Shandy,
Aye.
Mrs. Wilburn, Mr. Wilburn, I'm sorry,
Aye. Aye.
Mrs. Yanez,
Aye.
Mr. Salt.
Aye. All right, we have 10 people watching right now. We had 11 at one point. But we're going to take a quick break. So all the administrators, we'd love to shake your hand and welcome you to the neighborhood or to your new post because a lot of you have already been here. And then for all the award winners, we'll take pictures in just a minute. So hang out. We'll take probably about 10 minutes or so. Thank you. So that's why you asked me to play.
I did.
All right, we're going to get back to order here. Item 7 on the agenda. There were no items moved from consent, pulled from consent, so we'll move on to our written reports. First up is 8A, Annual Monitoring Report for Executive Limitation Policy 2.1, Treatment of Students. Did anyone have any questions or comments? All right. MRE, is the superintendent's interpretation of the policy reasonable? Is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance? Would you like to see additional or different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next monitoring report cycle? Do you see evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Right. Next is item B, Monitoring Report for Executive Limitations Policy EL 2.6, Financial Planning and Budgeting. Were there any questions or comments? Okay, moving on to the MRE. Is the superintendent's interpretation of the policy reasonable? Is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance? Would you like to see additional or different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next monitoring report cycle? Do you see evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Right. I'm experiencing unintended consequences of changing the dais because I used to be able to sit here and just see everybody in the line be like, all right, we're good. And now I'm like, swivel.
We can be vocal.
All right. All right, next is item C, monthly financial report through June 2024. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay. Item D, Parent Academy sessions for 24-25. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Ms. Cons.
Parent Academy, we went quick, right? That's what we're on. I just want to commend the team for taking the feedback of not as many sessions. It did get quite cumbersome this year. I know you guys were trying to serve the community, but it did, as a parent, you see all those and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even think about it. So great job doing less is more. And you obviously took the top attended ones from last year, so you kept those in. And then I feel like we're just aligning our whole team, board, administration, like we're just aligning back to those basic values of preparing the parents for preparing their students. So I just want to commend the team on the lineup for this year.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments related to the Parent Academy sessions? Okay. Item E, information regarding the 2024 bond. Were there any questions or comments? Okay. Item F, annual monitoring report for governance process policy 4.0, governance commitment. Anyone have any questions or comments? Okay. All right, for the MRE, is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance? Would you like to see additional or different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next reporting cycle? Do you see any evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Item G, annual monitoring report for governance process policy 4.1, composition of the board. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay. MRE, is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance? Would you like to see additional or different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next reporting cycle? Do you see evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Right. Item H, Annual Monitoring Report for Governance Process Policy 4.2, Governing Style and Values. Does anyone have any questions or comments? MRE, is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance? Would you like to see additional or different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next reporting cycle? Do you see evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Okay. Item I, Annual Monitoring Report for Governance Process Policy 4.3, Board Job Description. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Mr. Salt,
Yes, ma'am.
just one thing I thought of, because I'm always cognizant of making sure we're varying our linkage possibilities. This might be wild, but maybe at like a parent sounding board or something, or some of the committees and groups we serve on, that might be a great place to do linkages.
It's almost like you were part of the conversation we had. We were talking about linkages during was that during the agenda setting? And that was one of the things we talked about, was utilizing the stakeholder groups for that linkage. So great idea. More information forthcoming. Any other questions or comments? Wonderful. Moving on to the MRE, is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance? Would you like to see additional or different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next reporting cycle? Do you see evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Item J, Annual Monitoring Report for Governance Process Policy 4.4, Board Meetings. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, on to the MRE. Is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance? Would you like to see additional or different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next reporting cycle? Do you see evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Okay. Item K, fourth quarter BOE discretionary budget update. Did anyone have any questions or comments? Item L, language revision, discussion of governance process policy 4.2, governing style and values.
Yes, the only other thing aside from what was in the board packet that I caught on second review for 4.2 is there is a duplicate word, page 1, under the 7th bullet, the word important. So the development of virtuous character is equal in importance, important. So we just need to remove important.
Sounds good. Any concerns with that? All right, do you have that? Perfect, thank you. And then item M, language revision discussion of governance process policy 4.4, governance process. Anyone have any questions or comments?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Collins.
My 12 o'clock perusal of a second glance found some things. Just one thing. It is on number 2. So page 1, the number 2, the final lettered bullet points should be an I instead of another A. So that communicate in a manner, blah, 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 should be labeled
Good.
I.
Thank you.
I should be an editor.
Any other questions or comments on 4.4 language change? All right, moving on to presentations. First up, item A, report of the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, Superintendent Haberer.
Yes, Ms. Becky Allen, CFO, Deputy Superintendent.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome our chairperson, our co-chair of the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee since day one, I must share, Mr. David Brockway.
Thank you and good evening. Our group met on July 31st, and Chris Garnhart led us through the financial activity of the last quarter. The most notable of the 3 months I'll highlight. In April, there was 6.6 million of new encumbrances, which was a contract that was let out for the transportation expansion project. And with that, $230 million bond project, we're now 98% of the funding has been expended. There's 6.8 million remaining, and the contingency there is about 2.1 million. So we're coming down to the tail end of it here. The exception of finishing a few facility audit projects and the remaining projects that are in process, such as the transportation expansion, it's clear to us that the 2016 bond can be deemed a success, and the entire District 20 community can be very proud of what was accomplished under that program. So happy to report on that. My reports are getting a little shorter, but this is our next meeting will be in October, and I'll report to the board soon after that. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just appreciate all your service, being on this since the very beginning. That's a long time, and you've done an incredible job helping steer and manage that. So really appreciate your service on that committee. Board, any other questions or comments? All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Next is the building fund update. Superintendent Haber.
Deputy Superintendent Becky Allen.
I'd like to welcome our Executive Director for the Building Fund, Chris Garnhart.
Well, great. Thanks a lot. I enjoy coming here and giving you a few updates on the construction activities with this bond. We're getting pretty close to the end, so the presentations get a little bit briefer as we go along. I'm going to call this our summer 2024 update. Rampart and Liberty High School swimming pool equipment upgrades. We finished the Rampart pool equipment upgrades in April of 2024, so they have their pool back and everything seems to be working very well there. The Liberty High School pool, we have the demolition complete. We're a little further along now, but we intend to complete it here in early September. And you'll see a few photos of that in my presentation. The replacement of some windows over at the Bridges, where the Bridges program now used to be the Aspen Valley Middle School. We completed those windows in June of 2024. Previously, I had briefed the board on the Prairie Hills windows, and they were completed over spring break. And Woodman Roberts, we completed in June of 2024 as well. All right, so this is a picture of the Rampart pool filled back up. I just wanted to make sure y'all got that opportunity to see that it looks nice. The water is crystal clear and clean. And this is the equipment that we replaced. One piece of equipment that you do not see, which is down below the grate, is the circulating pump that moves the water around. But the blue item there is the filter system, and the gray device in the back is the heater that heats the water. And then this is the Liberty pool as it stands right now. It's drained, so there's no water in it, so really can't swim in it at this stage in the game. And then this is the swimming pool mechanical room. So if you can see where the block wall is in the back, that's where the heater will go, the boiler that heats the water. And next to that will be the filter system. The little fenced area where the red is was where the sand filter used to be. It was in a pit. And so that got taken out of there, and then we had to pour some concrete that the circulating pump will sit on down in that pit. And then this is just a picture of the exterior of what's now the Bridges building, I guess, or what used to be Aspen Valley. One of the things I noticed about it, and I don't know if anybody would pick this up, but the windows now look heavy duty commercial grade as opposed to more of a residential grade window. And then this is our transportation expansion project. This photo is probably about 2 weeks old, so it shows the foundation system there. This was taken with a drone by the contractor, and where that foundation is where there'll be a brand new metal building that houses the bus maintenance operations. And to kind of give you an idea of the magnitude of size, if you look at the existing transportation building, you'll see 4 garage doors. That portion of the building is where they do their bus maintenance operations, about 8,000 square feet of space. This new building is about 16,300 square foot, so a lot bigger, a lot safer environment for them. And we intend to wrap up this entire project probably in the March timeframe, March 2025. And then the document scanning. So right now, you can see we've scanned in documents from the Board of Education, facilities, and some of the HR documents. The next round that they're in the process of scanning, and we should receive those the end of August, early September, I would think, would be the bulk of the documents that Human Resources had. And then there's another round of some finance documents, and then we should be able to wrap that up fairly quickly. And that's all I have for you. Any questions for me?
Any questions, board? Director Wilburn.
Thank you very much, Mr. Garner. Your reports are always really thorough. I'm more just curious than anything. It looks to my eye like the Liberty swimming pool is significantly smaller.
It is.
It is.
It's a
About
6-lane
two-thirds
pool,
size?
and Rampart's an 8-lane pool, and Pine Creek is an 8-lane pool.
That would explain it.
So yeah, good observation. I like that.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you so much for your work on this. I really appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
All right. Next is our portrait of a graduate follow-up report. Superintendent Haber.
Yes, Dr. Susan Field, Assistant Superintendent for Learning Services.
Okay, Dr. Pariseau, come on down. Or he's behind me.
Well, good evening. It's good to be here. Got to talk quite a bit about Port River Graduate with all our staff and new teachers over the last week or so. So it's been pretty cool experience. Basically, I'm here to seek a resolution for final approval of our Port River Graduate, at least the first stage of it. And I want to share a quick story. Cameron, it's okay, it'll be quick. But this summer, I got to go back to the hometown where I grew up in. I grew up in a coastal little town of Carpinteria in California. And it's right on the beach, and we got to lay out and have fun. And I ran into several people. Some people I went to high school with. One person I coached back when I was right out of high school and in college a little bit, come back helping coaching. And I ran into an old teacher of mine. He was one of our health and PE teachers. And interesting story is I remember one of my fond memories of that class in health class was the email system was brand new. This told you how old I am. And he was complaining to all of us as students that he's being forced to check his emails and he refuses to. So shows you how long ago that was. But it was interesting because I had a chance to reflect upon this work we're doing with Port River Graduate, college and career readiness, and what we want students to graduate with as I'm reflecting upon my experience as a former high school student and running into people that made some really interesting choices and some that probably would have made better choices reflecting upon their experience if they were to do it all over again, right? And so this is something that's very important work we're doing. So let's go down memory lane a little bit, kind of where we ended things at the end of last year and where we're going. So Port River Graduate, it's a tool to communicate knowledge, skills, disposition, and characteristics that we want students to develop by the time they graduate. And this has been a co-creative process we've done collaboratively with all various stakeholder groups, industry partners, parents, students, you name it. We've met in numerous groups to develop and extract data in the sense of what their hopes and aspirations are for our students by the time they graduate, and also what's needed for them to be successful in post-secondary life, particularly in just career and in life in general. And so we had over 2,000 pieces of data that we then had to kind of reduce. We wanted to make sure that as we created our portrait, it was in alignment with our board ends and it's connected to our strategic plan. And we want to basically bring the board ends and our strategic plan to life in the sense of what those goals look like and with our students by the time they graduate. And this helps, Port River Graduate helps bring all that to life. And you'll see as we came up with our final product, there's a lot of alignment with language in our board ends. And so that's been very helpful in the sense of as we reduced all that data into something that is manageable and kind of exemplifies what we're looking at. It also is alignment with the Colorado State Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness Standards. Those standards are also known as the Colorado Academic Standards of Essential Skills. And they are basically, you could say it's the Porch River Graduate for the state. And so ours aligns to those standards too. And so as we reduced it, we looked at Board Ends language, we looked at the state standards for PWR, Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness. Additionally, the Porch River Graduate aligns with ICAP, which we have implemented in our district, and we're updating with the new College and Career Navigator platform, which our counselors and some of our teachers have received training on this past couple weeks. But if you notice, bold on the slide up here, it says PWR Demonstrations of Learning. And so when you reflect upon that, it's not just listing the standards as part of the ICAP process, but actually implementing in demonstrations of learning, demonstrations or opportunities for students to exemplify those skills that we've identified that are important for them to have by the time they graduate. And so that's integrated in with our ICAP. And in a bit, I'll show you how it all kind of coalesces together. So that's an important aspect of things. So in essence, the Portrait provides shared language for all students and educators to speak the same language. We have, because of our site-based nature, we have a lot of our schools, secondary schools in particular, doing great things, but sometimes they're different and there's some, things aren't the same between one high school and another. And we want to make sure that it's all uniform in a sense of language and a sense of expectation. And so we know what to reach for and as a goal that's in alignment with things that you establish as board members. And as it trickles down through the district into our sites, we want to make sure that we're all working towards similar goals and we're not working in silos or in different ways. It's also something that's more than just a poster with some idealized characteristics and descriptions of that. We want to bring it to life, and that's what we'll talk about what we're doing this coming year as we start that process. So here, just in review, has been the creation process, right? We built empathy. We basically worked with community members to develop and stakeholder groups. And as we reduced that, we aligned, as I discussed. We created a prototype and we brought it to the board a few times for feedback, and we've made those changes and adjustments. And so now is kind of the final product that we want to kind of show and go over briefly. And then going into the future, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute, but we want to make it measurable and actionable. We want to provide learning experiences for our students in K-12 regarding attainment of those dispositions and characteristics. And we want to develop a blueprint of success criteria. So here's a visualization that we have. Now, this was part of a collaborative process. Students were involved in this in the sense of how do we bring it to life in the sense of how it looks. And so you could see in this graphic, one of the main features of it is the aspen tree. And I've learned a lot about an aspen tree. My background is a history major, and I'm not a biologist, but the aspen tree has some pretty cool things about it. And so in essence, what you see up there, which is in the key, I can't see, I think it's Keebler or Kedler Pass. Basically, that's the second largest living organism in the world in Colorado is that aspen grove. And that's something unique about aspen trees is that when they grow what's known as a stand altogether, they're actually genetically identical. And so that whole tree is one living organism. And I know I'm probably not supposed to ask the board questions, but do you know where the biggest aspen grove is in the world? Anyway, any ideas? No? It's in Utah, actually, but not too far away. So if you go on the 70 and head west, and it's in the Fish Lake National Forest. So right before you hit the 15 off the 70 in Utah, on the right-hand side is that mountain range. And I think they nicknamed it Pando because like panda bear because of black and white of the trunk, but it's the largest living organism in the world. That's the largest aspen grove, but it is indigenous to Colorado in particular. So how this relates to the Porch River Graduate, in addition to the mountain peak, you could see there, since we have the mountain ranges and Pikes Peak, you can see a mountain climber climbing. And so in essence, the core or root of our Porch River Graduate is the aspen tree, and the aspen tree possesses the characteristics of rapid growth, which correlates to our mission. We educate and inspire students to thrive Further, the aspen root systems are considered a singular organism, like we talked about, the largest in the world, and they form the trees and stands, which articulates our Team One approach of all working together as we inspire students to climb to the peak of academic excellence, as it's labeled there in the graphic, and obtain the 6 specific competencies that will ensure post-secondary preparedness and continued success in college, career, and in life. And so those components are in our graphic, and this graphic is our first iteration of that. As we come up with maybe different versions or things, it'll still have those still elements in it, but we might move stuff around or make it look a little differently, but it'll still have those components in it. And so here is just the graphic with the different competencies of contributing citizen, effective communicator, lifelong learner, critical thinker, prepared decision maker, and connected individual. And you can see it's kind of circular around that peak and that visual. And here it is with the descriptions that we've been kind of articulated and edited quite a bit in a sense to make sure that it aligns and it's spelled out more fully. And to spare you, I'm not going to read it to you, but it is in the board packet and board materials there. But basically it provides a description of each of the competencies. And you notice at the bottom is academic excellence that's interconnected with the roots, and then that's connected with our vision statement that we have in our district. So here is the implementation process that we're moving forward with starting this fall. And so we've initiated some dates, and I'm just verifying with certain groups and certain individuals that we really want to be there to make sure those dates don't interfere with other activities or things this fall and spring. So we have those dates, and eventually we'll be pushing them out to our school sites to generate a cohort of groups. And we're going to start with our high school and backwards map it. But these are the things that we're going to do. We're going to utilize exemplars of other districts and other schools that have implemented Porch River Graduate in various different ways. So we have something to look at in the sense of what's been done before, what works, what doesn't work, and see elements that we might want to emulate as we progress and develop our success criteria. And then we're going to look at and create success criteria by academic kind of grade range. So we'll have 9 through 12 high school, then we'll have middle school 6 through 8, and then we're going to break middle or elementary school into 2 different groups, kindergarten through 2nd grade, and then 3rd through 5th. And that way the competencies and things we create are age specific, since a 2nd grader in the sense of how they develop or work on those competencies is very different than like an 11th grader, for example. We're also going to create examples of potential grade level lessons, activities, experiences, and a POG competency rollout plan for those different grade ranges. We're going to work on alignment to the ICAP plan process, and also how it aligns to our College and Career Navigator platform, as there's certain activities and things in there that align with our portrait. So that way there's kind of cross mapping so that they know if we're working on these certain skills in our Porch River Graduate, they crosswalk into different activities we have with counseling in our classrooms, and teachers have access to that. We also want to align to the American School Counselor Association, ASCA. We're in the process with our counseling teams, rolling that out, aligning with national standards for counseling, and we want to make sure that that as these things are developing in our system, we're not doing them in silos, so we're working together to make sure that it's uniform and understandable and it all mends well. And also we'll look at possible portfolio or capstone expectations, whether they're by grade level or grade cluster, in a sense of what we want to do and develop. So as we meet in these cohorts, those are the things that we want to look at and demonstrate. So here's just an example of how we break down the cohorts. So we're going to start, like I said, backwards mapping. And also in the board materials, I did provide you an implementation plan that we developed. This is a couple pages, but it goes a little bit more in depth on what I'm talking about. Initially, we're going to start with high schools this year and just mapping things out and considering all the things that we have in the works in our district. We're probably going to focus on high school this year and start middle school based on funding that we have at the end of the year, probably in early June and summer, and then bleed middle school into the fall of next year. And in the spring of the following year, then work with elementary and see how far we can get where that might bleed into the following year. But the goal is to get it done in a 2-year process as much as possible. And I think we'll learn a lot when we're working with the high school as we go down. It becomes a little bit less complicated as we go down to younger grades in a sense. So high school's the beast, right? There's a lot of diversity in different things that we should be doing within the portrait. And so that's kind of how we plan to do it. So that's my presentation. Any questions?
Ms. Cons.
Thank you. Because you know how passionate I was, and you graciously invited Mrs. Shandy and I to be a part of this process. Would you consider any board members being invited to these monthly cohorts?
Absolutely.
Okay, so can you keep us apprised of dates and
Yeah.
whatnot, please?
Yeah, so we're in the version of finalizing those dates, and then we'll share that out with the entire board.
Thanks.
So the goal is to have, just to let you know the makeup of that, we want to have various stakeholders in it. We want to make sure that all sites have representation. We want to make sure we have a counselor, an administrative representation, teachers representing in there, and then other district people. So we want like Julie Hendricks, our new assistant director for counseling. We want to make sure Belinda Martin, who's over ICAP, is there. We want to make sure that as we're working toward things that there's alignment and we don't get off track and then realize, oh, but we forgot this or that. So we're going to reach out and we'll make sure that you guys are all invited and you're free to attend and participate.
And I just want to say I'm thrilled, you know, this last page in our board packet with the criteria template. It's just really exciting to have this framework, and you discussed it at length in your last few slides, just to give this legs and not sit on a wall. Like, I love that the entire plan is in place to work it every step of the way with every student, with every staff member. So I'm thrilled.
Well, and what's really exciting about it is as we're adjusting our ICAP process and plan with the new platform, is at the same time we're working on updating and working with counselors regarding alignment. So it's all perfect timing in a sense that it's all being done at the same time. And it's all being done together. It's not like we're just doing this and then we have to pull other things that we, you know, to get them to conform. And I think it's a good time. The timing's good for all this.
And I think it's going to assist teachers to have less vagueness, you know, less, you know, the scope and sequence is so gigantic. And I think this just gives a great focus for, you know, what our district wants to accomplish with our students. So very exciting. Good job.
Thank you.
Any other comments, board? I was going to echo what Ms. Khan said about the plan that you have and kind of the description and how that works out. That's what I was looking for throughout the entire packet. And I got a page. I was like, here it is. And I love the way that that's laid out, especially how it crosswalks between, you know, starting with the board ends and then crosswalks back to what each of these statements mean in that portrait descriptor. And I think that's going to be really powerful once it's created. It's one of the things that I know I've lamented since I've been on the board is really about the character aspect of our board ends of how do we quantify this? How do we really get our hand around this? Because the surveys we do are about as good as we've been able to do, but it's not the right picture. And so having this is really going to help inform us as a board of how well we're actually accomplishing those ends with better data. And so I'm really excited about seeing how this works out once that crosswalk's completely put together. And seeing how that really informs us as we move forward. So I appreciate it. I know there's been a huge work for you over the last year. Really appreciate everything that you have helped put into this, and really looking forward to seeing how it wraps up.
Thank you. Just a comment regarding that. It's really interesting because when you have standards or a standard you're trying to meet in education, there's two ways of doing it. There's the right way and the wrong way. The right way is you actually use the standards to drive instruction and what you do. And then the wrong way is you do what you want and you find a standard that aligns to it, right? And so sometimes in the past, it's kind of how it's been when it comes to something that hasn't been articulated and purposely done. So I think this will really drive that home, exactly what you're saying.
Nope, that's great. That's a really great way of putting that. So thank you. Last chance, any comments, questions, board? All right, this should be on the consent agenda at the next meeting. Thank you for the update, bringing this back, incorporating all the information you had. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Belcher, how many people have signed up to speak during public comment section number 1?
2 individuals.
The board welcomes the comments of our community members. We greatly value all comments from the public, but in order to adhere to board policy and accomplish the work already on the agenda, the board and superintendent will not be responding this evening. Speakers may offer appreciation for or criticism of school operations and programs as concern them, but are encouraged to exercise their speech rights responsibly, as they are personally responsible for any legal consequences attributable to their comments, including claims of defamation. Please keep in mind that students often attend board meetings and listen online. A speaker's remarks, therefore, should be suitable for an audience that includes kindergarten through 12th grade students, including no use of profanities or obscenities. Comments concerning personnel matters should be directed to the superintendent or board president in writing with your signature. Supplemental written materials can be given to the security guards, and they will be delivered to the board secretary. The board president will recognize each speaker, and consistent with GP 4.4, comments will be curtailed if remarks or behavior become inappropriate. The board president may interrupt, warn, or terminate a speaker's statement that is unrelated to the business of the school district, inappropriate for K-12 students, or disruptive to an orderly, civil, and productive meeting. Thank you for your cooperation. Now, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, I know we've had some new people come. The boardroom set up a little different this evening. This change allows us to fit more members of the public into the boardroom. As part of the change, we have removed the lectern and now have a table with a microphone and chair. When your name is called, please come to the table and sit in the chair to deliver your public comment. Mr. Belcher.
First up to bat is Patrick Mooring, followed by Katie Chukas.
My name is Patrick Mooring. I've been the broadcast journalism advisor of the award-winning KRAM program at Rampart for 17 years. I'm also the current president of the Colorado Student Media Association, which functions much like CHSAA does for athletics in our state. Before I was the president, I served a term as vice president and 2 terms as digital media coordinator. I'm intimately familiar with the Colorado Freedom of Expression Law. I testified in front of the Colorado House and Senate Education Committees in 2020 to add an addendum to the 1990 version that updated the law to cover broadcast and web student publications, as well as protect advisors from any sort of retribution for defending student free speech. I noticed that your agenda item in executive session concerns JICE, which is our student journalism policy here in the district. I came here tonight just to make sure you are aware of the specifics of the law before you enter into any discussion about JICE. All public school publications are defined as an open forum, and this cannot be changed. I teach my students each year that they are responsible for choosing the stories we cover. Students can only be limited if their speech is obscene, libelous, or slanderous, severely disrupts the school operation, or violates someone's rights to privacy. Other than that, prior restraint is illegal in Colorado, which means that a school official is prohibited from telling a student that they cannot publish a story or take action to prevent a student from doing so. Prior review is also illegal, which is where a school official views student media before it is distributed. It's my job as advisor to teach students the principles of ethical journalism and advise them on how to cover the topics they choose with professionalism. KRAM's many national recognitions are only possible because the students have freedom to report. Allow them freedoms, allow them grace when they stumble, but most of all, allow them opportunities to grow and learn. I'm not sure why JICE is on your agenda tonight, but be aware and educated about the laws we have to stay compliant with. For the sake of our student journalists in D20, if you would like the full verbiage of CRSA 22-1-120, I'd love to share it with you along with some great material explaining it by the National Student Press Law Center.
Katie Chukas.
Okay, my name is Catherine Chukas. I live in the district. I'm still an Air Academy parent. I'm still the SAC chair. My animal update is about dogs. This summer, there was a great group of adults in the D20 community taking care of one stray dog from the Black Forest. It's quite a story. But also tonight, the other dogs I'm thinking about in this community are a group of teenagers who have a mascot of a Great Dane. If you're an adult in the community who knows a Dane, I'm really thinking about you tonight. I did want to comment on the ISTE conference earlier from the superintendent, just for the board's benefit. In addition to this book about equity, the DTAC Task Force on AI is going to have amazing things for you to know about based upon the phenomenal work the task force did specific to the D20 environment. So you get to hear about that at some point in the future. I am speaking about item 8I, the board member job description and evidence. Personally, I think it would have been better to record the evidence by each of the lettered items. It helps demonstrate that board members have met the job description specifically, just like it would for any other performance review. And it makes it more clear what is and isn't out of compliance. It also allows you to demonstrate specifically things like item 1C, which items the board members advocated for, and item 1E, the names and dates of publications where board members have demonstrated organizational performance. Please think about this. But the one thing that really stood out for me about 8I was listening to community evidence. There are 7 entities listed, and going forward, it'd be great for there to be documentation or a list of all of the comments the board receives at these different entities. I'm most familiar with Parent Sounding Board. That already came up tonight. But at those 30 tables every month, the 2 hours are filled with comments from some of the most engaged parents at the public school sites who can be free at their lunch hour. I don't think the charter parents come, but they probably could be invited. That's hundreds of the most engaged parents. Hear them. Hear the nature of their conversations and their questions. These are the most sophisticated questions and conversations about MLO, about school finance. And it was fantastic conversations left.
Thank you. All right, board, item 11A. We need a motion to approve resolution 254-24, approval of the name for the new field house on the Discovery Canyon campus. Superintendent Haber. Oh, wait, we need a motion.
Moved.
Second.
Superintendent Haber.
Dr. Susan Peel.
Good evening, board. Come on up, Matt. So this is Matt Mitchell. He is the principal, proud principal at DCC High School, and he is going to walk us through the naming of our new field house.
Thank you for having me. We are so excited. We're weeks away from its opening. The update this week is that we're delayed a little bit, so we're going to be working with the communication team soon on grand opening and celebrating that well. But a lot went into naming this. A huge gift from a family in our community that really saw a need and built through a connection with a former staff member and took years of work to kind of get there. So in our naming committee, we're excited for the rationale. We have this wonderful gift to our pre-K-12 campus that will help all of our students, whether it's during the day, during field days, PE class, or we get a lot of inside practice because of Thunder for the Thunder, and we have quite a bit of that. So we are excited. We did follow administrative policy FFR in naming this, and we should be completed here. And we also want to, they've finally taken the fence down, and we're kind of getting real close to it being done. Our process, the building was, the donations and all that was wrapped up in 2023 in the spring, and groundbreaking when you all were there in April. And it's hard to believe that quickly this structure is up and looks official and done. We formed the naming committee in July, a little harder in the summer to get everyone to show as we needed, but we had the right people in the room, and then we met on July 30th. I was on it. We have Del Krebs, a founding teacher and coach, Sean Mitchell, Bob Bentley, our new athletic director, and AP, David King, a 13-year minute. I went backwards. Sorry. I don't know what I did. Bob Bentley, David King, who's been there for 13 years, the middle school principal, Carrie Smith, a parent and employee, Taylor McCann, a young student athlete, and Thomas Ashley, one of our booster parents and parents who's pretty involved with his students. With that committee, we reminded them that shouldn't be hasty or emotional, it shouldn't be ill-conceived, can't be a repeat. We don't want to name anything that's already been there. We considered past precedent and considered the mission of the district and kind of what we're aiming for. And the names that considered in the room and the names that were brought up was Schuylkill Field House outside and Krebs Field on the inside. Krebs Schuylkill Field House, the DCC Field House, and the Thunder Field House. Unanimous vote in the committee was that it would be Schuylkill Field House on the outside and Krebs Field House, or Krebs Field on the inside. They did not want their name on the outside. Part of that, just history. Ron Schuylkill is obviously the person being named after. He's recently retired, which follows policy, so he's not a current employee. Served more than 25 years. He's on the founding committee for the building, even prior to being an employee as a teacher and coach. He literally brought in all of our key coaches Some of them were worried about joining the school when it was new. He was the one who called them and said, as a teacher, you should come join. Here's why. Here's what we're doing. He's brought all his students through the school. He's brought people. Avid defender of the school. He made sure I was good enough. You guys put me through it, but he really put me through it. And when we passed that, one of our female athletes who's in the room, she really commented that he cares about all genders and not just football or big sports, but she really appreciated how much he's done for girls sports at the school as well. And this building will be used for both. He's been a positive role model for all of our community. And he established the relationship with the donor that brought this here and built the vision and built the idea and the dream. And it's between them that they've been able to do that. And the Krebs family prefer their name not be on the outside, and they both prefer first names not be in it. They want to honor the community and let it be something that we can open and celebrate here shortly. So as always, go Thunder, and any questions I can definitely answer.
Any questions, board? All right. Thank you for all the work that you and the committee put into it, especially over the summer when they were foregoing other opportunities. Really appreciate the background on this.
Thank you.
All right. Without any further ado, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cons,
Aye.
Mrs. Shandy,
Aye.
Mr. Wilburn,
Aye.
Mrs. Yanez,
Hi.
Mr. Salt.
Aye. All right, next, we need a motion to approve Resolution 255-24, certification of ballot language for bond question appearing on November 5th, 2024, coordinated election ballot. Motion, please.
Moved.
Second.
Discussion, please. Superintendent Haber.
Yes, Mrs. Becky Allen, Deputy Superintendent, that's CFO.
Thank you. I'll step over and Mark Belfer will join me as well.
Shall I start? Okay. So we're going to give you just a little bit of background on some of the changes that Becky's going to present here in a minute. Over the past couple of weeks and months, we've been pretty busy. There wasn't much of a summer to speak of, as exemplified by all those accomplishments you saw earlier. So we've engaged slightly informally, but we've engaged several groups in the community and presented them with the bond language that you have in front of you. And we took their feedback, and there were several great pieces of feedback, including some constructive criticisms. Some of the great feedback was you've got a no tax increase, so that's something to be proud of. You've also got a lot of pride behind how the district has handled its past bond initiatives, so some goodwill built up there. One piece of potentially constructive criticism was around the targeted LED lighting upgrades and wanting to see some broader improvements across the entire district. So Becky's going to talk a little bit about how that informed some changes.
This is on? Okay, I believe you. So as Mark mentioned, we've looked at bond language before and we've made a few tweaks to it based upon the presentation that you had back in June. So I would just like to share what some of those changes are, and they really go hand in hand with what Mark just shared. So this is kind of if I were to list all the bond language on one slide, it would go down a whole nother. It really gets into all of the financial legalese associated with it. So I'm going to focus at the top. So that whole first section, without imposing any new tax, no change. And that next section about the 69.14 million, that's the same dollar amount we've been referring to. The repayment cost is the one that we discussed back in June. It's that 128 million. And now we go into the 3 bullets. Before we showed 4. I'm going to jump around a little bit. If you were to look at that third bullet, providing funding for TCA and New Summit, they each were their own bullet. We got some feedback for readability. These ballot measures are dense and long, so we felt we could combine them into one bullet. And we also, it used to say facility expansion for those two sites. We're calling it capital improvement projects. Again, Kim McClelland and Dr. Thomason from both New Summit and TCA have been a part of that process, and they like that language. If we go to the top bullet, it really goes to something that Mark mentioned a moment ago about some feedback. And also that Mr. Salt has shared with us. We want to make sure that what goes into this ballot language is understood by all. We do this job for a living, so we can easily know what a CTE pathway is, or even a career pathway. But someone who maybe doesn't have children in the school district, yet is one of our constituents, the suggestion was to call it education and with new career education. That is something that's very transferable across folks who know a lot about education or who don't. So the beginning part, the 20% match for approximately $190 million for federal grants, all the same. The other piece that's new, we felt it was important that our community who might not be familiar knows it's a 65-year-old building. That was not in there before, but we felt that that was compelling. And then really before we talked about a CTE pathways wing, it really is a center of excellence, similar to the center of excellence that we have at Liberty High School that has automotive and construction trades. So we used that language here and talked about a new career education program. We also added accessible to students across District 20. And that's the commitment that we've made and that we've made to our families, that if students are attending other high schools in the district and it makes sense for them to access, for example, aviation programming, that we provide an opportunity for them not only to access it, but also to have transportation provided. Not necessarily bus stops or door-to-door from the home, but satellite transportation from our other high school locations to help students be able to access that. So again, we felt it was important to note that. Finally, that second bullet is really what I want to highlight because the Citizens Accountability Committee, the mill cap that you see in green at the bottom, no change. But for Mark and his team did a great job just getting some what I would call focus group feedback. And it was $9 million for LED lighting. And we know that's important, but folks said, can you do a little more to really help feel like the other schools are not only getting LED lighting upgrades, but maybe some other pieces as well. So after a lot of work, just looking at different pieces and collaborating with principals and departments, we went ahead and expanded that to improve health, safety, and security and comply with the LED lighting. Now, the dollar amount for that line, in our minds, part of that ask of $69.14 million has not changed. That line item is really still $9 million, but we're also looking beyond LED lighting to look at some safety and security measures. I don't mean people, okay, because again, this is a bond. I always remember bond, building, right? So this is about physical security for the building. How can we enhance some of those things? And then around just other health and safety, some examples, our high schools and most of our middle schools have wood shop areas that are beautiful. But, you know, over time, they sometimes need better dust collection systems, better HVAC systems for those spaces. Some of our theater areas, curtains are quite old. We're still obviously making sure that they have solid fire retardant, but as time goes on, they start to get old and could have a healthier replacement, or stage rigging equipment could be, again, safety upgrades. These are some of the examples that we're talking about there. So that really brings us to what the bond language would look like. In the actual resolution, you see it go all the way down to the bottom with what it would be from start to finish in terms of that financial legalese that fits in at the bottom of the language as well. Any questions for us?
Director Cons.
Thank you. I was wondering in your focus groups if you had any feedback about the third yellow bullet point with people not understanding that that was a requirement, and even that those charter schools were part of our district. Just curious if people understood that.
Apt observation. We did receive several questions about that topic. Folks were wondering, does it have to be that much? Is it required by law? And part of this is an educational process, so we did share that we do have to provide it. Now, the amount, I think Becky can speak more to, but people were interested to learn that that is a requirement. So yes, good point. It came up.
And actually, in even our bond counsel, Kim Crawford, hi, she's on virtually. Kim Crawford would let you know that we don't have to give this exact dollar amount that we're looking at. It's about $11 million between both schools. Where does that dollar amount come from, and why are we doing that? All of the funding that is provided as a pass-through from District 20 to both New Summit and TCA are given on a proportionate share based upon their population of students. TCA is about 13.7% of our full population, New Summit about 2.4%. So we wanted to follow suit. We have such good partnerships with our charter schools, and we want to make sure that these funds follow suit with the other funding that we are required to give on a proportionate share. So that's how that dollar amount was set.
Something I like to say is those are still D20 students, and if these dollars are intended for D20 students, they should be proportionate.
Yeah. I agree. I'm curious if this is going to be a hindrance to voters that we can't educate everybody. I'm just talking through how we're going to make sure people understand that it's a desire and a requirement.
Yeah. Sure. And I think part of the, Mark and his team have done such a good job standing up a website, and we're going to continue to work on the FAQs, and I think that's a great one. Why are TCA and New Summit on there? And how did you come up with this dollar amount? Those could be the types of things that we could include. In addition, we've been working closely with both schools to be able to, that we can also articulate if people ask us what they plan to spend those dollars on.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So,
Wilburn.
or it could be possible to insert a word after providing and before funding. Required, legally mandated, something like that. It's worth thinking about.
We can talk with Kim Crawford, and Kim, please feel welcome to jump in. I know, again, the amount doesn't necessarily need to be at the proportionate level that we do. So Kim would probably need to revise on some language that would give that sentiment, but not also give the portrayal that we're required to give this exact amount. Kim, do you have any ideas or comments there? Tina, does it look like Kim's coming in? Kim, are you on mute?
She is. It looks like it's got a mandatory thing there where she can't unmute herself, so I'm not sure if we can unmute her.
All right, we're going to try to
She
unmute
did
you.
give us thumbs down, so I think she was saying, don't do that.
She cannot unmute.
Now she's nodding yes, so I think she's agreeing with me, or she's saying, yes, go ahead and do it. I'm getting,
Right.
no, I'm kidding.
All right, we're going for it. We're unlocking the mute if we can, okay?
Yep, looks like you got it.
Kim, you there?
Okay, I am here now.
All
Thank
right,
you.
that's this is Kim Crawford. She works for Butler Snow, which is an attorney firm up in Denver, and she helps us with our bond, MLO language, things associated with that. Kim, it's all yours.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us tonight. And Courtney DeGardi is with me here as well from Butler Snow, and she's also been working on your ballot language. You are certainly being generous to your charter schools. I think you are required under state law to talk to them, see what their capital needs are, prioritize them. You don't have to give them bond money. You are choosing to do so based on the reasons that Becky gave earlier. So I don't think it is accurate to say that this is required funding, because if you had more needs and greater needs than what you deemed your charter schools needs to be, you really aren't required to give them any bond fund money. You are required to give them levy override money. So I would not recommend adding that to the question because it isn't untrue, but it's not technically a state law requirement that you give them, that you share your bond proceeds.
Thank you, Kim. Just as a little background, when we had the 2016 bond, TCA had about $20 million. New Summit was not established at that point.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. Thank you, Ms. Allen, Mr. Belcher. Any other questions or comments regarding the ballot language? I really appreciate the work you guys did over the summer. Overall, it seems like it's in a really good spot, so appreciate that. If there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mrs. Shandy?
Aye.
Mr. Wilburn?
Aye.
Mrs. Janez?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye. All right, thank you. Mr. Belcher, how many people have signed up to speak during public comment section number 2?
I'm in a new spot, 4 individuals.
Right. The board president will recognize each speaker, and consistent with GP 4.4, comments will be curtailed if remarks or behavior becomes inappropriate. The board president may interrupt, warn, or terminate a speaker's statement that is unrelated to the business of the school district, inappropriate for K-12 educations or K-12 students, or disruptive to an orderly, civil, and productive meeting. Thank you for your cooperation.
First up to bat, Tim Hoffman, followed by Brett Dayberry.
Hey, Tim Hoffman, proud parent of a D20 middle school student. Go Grizzlies. I'm open with a quote. I did not raise children so emotionally weak that they can't stand the sight of a flag. That's what a concerned parent said on June 3rd, 2021, as they stood here addressing the board regarding the idea of banning certain flags at that time. I don't have the right or ability to say, I don't want my children to see it, and therefore neither should yours, they continued. That's not my responsibility. That's a decision for parents to make, not for the board to make. Profound words from an individual who now sits on the board backing a weird policy around the display of flags on district property, a policy that actually encourages violation of the U.S. flag code. Look, my son loves his birth country, and now and then he'll rock a soccer jersey with an Ethiopian flag on it. This weird policy won't stop him from doing that. He may even wear it while sitting during the pledge. Finally, I'd hoped to see reason win out over the summer, but alas, here we are with all of you back. We're set up differently tonight to accommodate more engaged parents, and I've heard some of the catalyst of this change was for the safety of the board. Some violent online rhetoric had caused concern among some members of the board, as it should, and changes were made. We should always work to protect people from aggressive and violent rhetoric online or elsewhere. I'm here today to continue to remind you that you sit next to and work with an individual who has attacked parents in this district repeatedly with violent online rhetoric, harassment, doxing, and cyberbullying. An individual who has placed my own children in harm's way through their use of escalated violent rhetoric and repeated obsessively weird behavior. Every one of you who's not encouraged that individual to step away from this role is complicit in that behavior. You made changes for the safety of the board, and I hope you guys feel safe. You deserve to feel safe. But how about doing the same thing for this community that you claim to care about? Remove those who represent danger. Where are the leaders? Why are you afraid of doing this? I implore you to make changes for the safety of the district and encourage the voluntary resignation of members not fit to serve in this capacity. Thank you.
Next up, Brett Dayberry, followed by Beth Hodgson.
I remind Aaron Salt that in early January, you asked that I give you 3 months to fix the school book issue. We are now in month 7 of your 3-month time frame. I'm sure you and a lot of others are sick and tired about hearing about the library books. Well, I'm sick and tired of having to bring it up every board meeting because you've chosen not to fix it. After 2 years of trying to work with Mr. Salt, I am convinced he has no desire to fix the problem. As evidence to this, from 2022 to 2024, there have been more books rated 4 and 5 added to our libraries than subtracted. Look it up. This is a spiritual battle between righteousness and wickedness. Mr. Salt's actions or lack thereof He has chosen the side of wickedness. How else can one describe it? Galatians 6:7 reads, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows." Mr. Salt has been provided with legal case precedent that clearly states obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment. He's also been provided with very specific and detailed policy changes which could have been implemented. I don't know why this board feels the need to answer to this administration on this issue. The board ultimately decides which books are in the library and which aren't. To this point, Aaron Salt and 2 additional board members have chosen the side of wickedness to keep pornography in our libraries. Can I be more clear? If Mr. Salt had integrity, he would resign from this board, but I don't expect that. So I will do everything legally possible to keep him from being reelected to this board. In the meantime, I will continue to expose the community to his actions that allow pornography in our schools.
Beth Hodgson, followed by Heather Cloninger.
I'm Beth Hodgson. I'm a parent and a resident of D20. Hello, Board of Education, community members, and concerned citizens. I sit before you today to address a critical issue facing our community, the alarming failure of Academy District 20 Board of Education and its superintendent to adequately serve our students. While our children deserve the highest quality education, we are witnessing a disturbing pattern of neglect and mismanagement within our school district. Agenda items such as book banning and flag policing are taking away from the true needs of the students in our district. Teacher retention is at an all-time low, hindering transitions to new levels and impeding the learning process. We all know well-supported teachers who are led with excellence and integrity, where our students' best interests are prioritized, do not leave districts. We also have lawsuits for not following mandated IEPs and 504 plans. These will surely result in payouts, which will further lessen our ability to provide adequate and advanced technologies for our students to be able to be competitive for the challenges of the 21st century. All of our students deserve a well-rounded education that fosters critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving skills. The lack of transparency and accountability from the Board of Education is equally concerning. Parents and educators are left in the dark, especially during closed-door meetings such as the one with Education Re-envisioned. There is no reason this meeting should be happening without full transparency, as they are not a subsidiary of D20. According to the agenda item, it's in reference to getting legal advice for special legal questions related to policy. Has the letter of intent submitted by Education Re-envisioned been made available to the public, or is this just more backroom good old boy politics with Ken Witt and Aaron Salt? It's time for change. We demand a Board of Education and a superintendent that prioritizes students' needs, invests in our teachers, and fosters a collaborative environment where every child has the opportunity to thrive. Let us unite our voices and demand better for our students. Let us hold the Academy District 20 Board of Education accountable and work together to create a brighter future for all. Thank you.
Next up is Heather Cloninger.
Sitting. Thank you for letting me be here tonight. This year at the RAW, or as is formally called the Back to School Rally, AEA, or Academy Education Association, was denied a table at the benefits fair for the first time in several decades. Actions like this strike at the very heart of our democratic values and push us toward a dangerous path of dictatorship. Teachers are the backbone of our society and shaping the minds of our future generations, and they deserve the freedom to collaborate and share ideas and advocate for their rights. When efforts like this are made to be silenced or isolate them, it's not just an attack on the educators, but an attack on the principles of freedom and unity that our society holds dear. Denying teachers the ability to come together is a form of control, a method used by those who fear the power of collective voices. It echoes the tactics of authoritarian regimes where the free exchange of ideas are stifled and dissent is suppressed. In a healthy democracy, open dialogue and collaboration are essential. When we attempt to stifle these practices, we risk slipping into a dictatorial mindset where power is centralized and the voices of many are silenced by few.
We must stand firm against any efforts to isolate or silence our teachers. We must uphold their right to gather, to speak, and to advocate for the education and future of our children. For in defending their freedom, we actually defend our own. Please don't claim inclusivity and Team One when you're suppressing our teachers' voices. I love this district. I always have and I always will. And I encourage all of our teachers to join AEA.
All right, thank you. Superintendent Haber, did you have any clarifications or next steps?
I do not.
Board, was our business this evening focused on activities that promote and honor our mission statement, our belief statements, and our global end statement that reminds us that all students will have the knowledge, skills, and character necessary for successful transition to the next level, and upon graduation will be fully prepared for success? Did the board hear information tonight that would require the review or revision of a policy? Well, yeah, as noted with 4.2 and 4.4, did the board hear information tonight that would require a new policy? Did the board hear information tonight that the board would like to include on a future agenda?
I think we were talking about in 4.3 linkages. Is that something that was upcoming?
Yeah, that'll be on September study session. So it's already slated. Thank you. Mr. Wilburn? Please use the microphone.
We had talked about doing, I can't think of the book policy number off the top of my head.
Book policy in December.
Thank you, December, yeah.
Yep. All right, any other items that need to be included in a future agenda? All right, we have two birthdays. We have Mr. Wilburn, which is tomorrow on August 9th. Happy birthday. And Mr. Sacalidi, August 27th. Thank you for all of your technical wizardry and have a happy birthday. We have 13 people still hanging out with us. And now we need a motion that the Board of Education convene an executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-402 4B for the purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions related to policy JICE, a litigation matter, and letter of intent submitted by ER BOCES. While in executive session, the board will not adopt any proposed policy, resolution, regulation, or take any formal action. Lastly, the Colorado Open Meetings Law does not require the board to make record of the executive session in which the attorney is present and providing legal advice. CRS-24-6-402.
Can you read the updated script?
That was the one you gave me.
The bottom part.
Oh. Thought the whole thing was updated. Sorry. All right, scratch that. Different motion. I move that the Board of Education convene an executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-402 4B for the purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions related to policy JICE, a litigation matter in EA 2024-0014, and letter of intent submitted by ER BOCES. While in executive session, the board will not adopt any proposed policy, resolution, regulation, or take any formal action. Lastly, the Colorado Open Meetings Law does not require the board to make record of the executive session in which the attorney is present and providing legal advice. CRS 24-6-402 D.52B.
Moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mrs. Shandy?
Aye.
Mr. Wilburn?
Aye.
Mrs. Yanez?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye. The executive session will be held in the superintendent's office, and invited to this executive session are Dr. Field, Ms. Haberer, Ms. Cons, Mr. Salt, Mr. Stephen Scott, Ms. Shandy, Colonel Stallworth, Ms. Thompson, Mr. Wilburn, and Ms. Yanez. I said Dr. Field. I got you. I got her.
Can
All
you
right.
add Mr. John Stanek and
Mr. John Stanek. Mr. Stanek, the only one that I missed.
Miss Kristen Edgar?
Miss Kristen Edgar is invited. And Miss Becky Allen is invited. All right, This portion of the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.